How do you stay focused on what matters most? Why do you want to keep the main thing? How do you stay focused on what counts the most? And why is that relevant to you? I am Coach Shaw. Welcome to our Performance Edge Weekly Wisdom, where spirit drives performance. Whether it's in athletic performance, in business performance, in leadership performance, or in personal transformation, one of the best kept secrets of a world-class performer is that they have mastered the art and the science of staying focused on what counts the most in order to achieve peak performance. So today, we'll be talking about how to stay focused on what matters most. So in the first part, we'll understand from different perspectives on why you want to keep the main thing. Second, we'll see how to keep staying focused on what counts the most. And third, I'll share the driving principle that connects them all, which is the spirit performance angle. Ready? Let's jump in. Why do you want to keep the main thing? Let's face it. Do you feel overwhelmed, burned out, or if you're not having enough of the impact that you desire? Why I'm asking this question? Because for the most part, if we dig deeper, it will be safe for me to say at the core that it stems from a lack of clarity, which is reflected by not staying focused on what matters the most when it counts the most. How do I know that? Because of a Performance Edge fundamental principle, which is that your experience follows your attention. Where goes your focus, energy follow and expand. In other words, your attention precedes your experience. This is why you want to be intentional and purposeful always first. And to exemplify this core principle, we've all heard of a Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rules, where 80% of your result comes from 20% of your effort. Meaning, you want to be deliberate about your effort first and foremost. There are different analogies that you might have heard of, one of which is eat the frog first, expression from the world expert productivity Brian Tracy, to suggest that when you have many activities or tasks to do, you want to focus first on the most important and hardest things in the morning, in the beginning, so that you utilize your energy is the most invaluable resource and focus to the best way possible first. Another analogy that is well illustrated is from late Stephen Covey in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The metaphor he used is if you had a vase and you have different sizes of rocks and pebbles and sands, how do you fill that vase? So what he suggests and demonstrates is that you fill the vase by taking care of the big rocks first, because the smaller pebbles and the sand will fill themselves in after you take care of the big rocks. Now, with those two illustrations, I hope you can see why it makes sense to stay focused on what matters the most when it comes the most. Which leads us to the second part of how do you keep the main thing. I won't get into all the details about different techniques here and methodology that are out there, but instead I'm going to share with you the principles so that you can create the best strategy that works for you. So the key is to understand the fundamental principle. You want to start with purpose and be intentional. What is your purpose? Because that's what will drive everything else below. How would you know when that purpose is achieved? That's the main question. What are the results or the key performance indicators? So in high tech, back in the days, Andy Grove from Intel Corporation in Silicon Valley democratized a framework called OKR, Objective, Key Result. Basically, objective is your purpose or your goal, and the key results are the vision and the result. Basically, how would you know when you reach what your purpose was in the first place? So having a picture and vision of what you are looking for will drive the actions and will drive the steps you need to take, because your goals are broken down by actionable steps, and that will guide you to be deliberate, one step at a time. Now here, it's important because I want to emphasize that approach here, because it's what makes a difference between the average performers versus the world-class performer. Because the average performer, they focus on the to-do list, on the task list. They are looking at the actions level first, while if you start with purpose and intention, you will be able to steer your focus on what matters most. And that leads us to the third point, which is my favorite. It's a pillar of a quantum door, where spirit drives performance, because it's a driving principle that connects them all, which is that form and function are interconnected and interdependent. Basically, the vital energy you can see here in nature is recognizable in its expression and its form. And yes, forms follow function. So that unifying principle reveals a simple fact that clarity is power. And when you are clear on your intention and purpose, it empowers you to take immediate action. So 2 quick tips to help you in getting that clarity. The first one is a question from Gary Keller in his book, The One Thing. And that question is a powerful one you can use in whatever thing you're doing. And that question is this: what is the one thing I can do today for such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or even unnecessary? What is the one thing I can do today for whatever thing you want, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or even unnecessary? That question should help you to get the answer. But if you are still struggling, you could use the inverse approach, which is the second perspective, which is the following: what is the next most congruent next step of action I could take that will move me away from what I don't want? Yes, from what I don't want. That question might be easier because it's based on your reality, and because what you don't want is based on your experience. So with those 2 questions, you should be able to find the clarity needed so that you stay focused on what counts the most. How do I know? Because by using these 2 questions, you are doing things in the right order. As I teach my client, by asking yourself those 2 questions, you are focusing first on the process of optimization, which focuses on finding the most favorable solution considering multiple factors and constraints. And second is the process of maximization, which follows the optimization process, because its focus is about finding the absolute highest or lowest point of the key performance you're trying to optimize. I hope you understand now why having that clarity is key, because when you do, you conquer your fears, which allows you to cultivate your authentic self, which finally allow you to create the meaningful impact you long and desire. Certainly, I want to keep this succinct today, and out of respect of your time, and if you want to continue this conversation with me, please sign up to our brand new community, Performance Edge Wisdom Community, and the link is right there. And you will get more access and more tips, relevant answer to your real problems. And if you have any issue you want me to talk about, you can submit them in the comments or request specific video on www.thequantumdo.com/video. Or if you want it to be confidential and you need a non-disclosure agreement, please send an email to support@thequantumdo.com and we'll have someone get back to you. Now, before I leave you today, what are your thoughts? Do you feel you are now equipped to stay focused on what matters most when it counts the most? If it served you today, please subscribe, share your experience in the comments below, and share with your friends. And don't forget, failure is a necessary prerequisite to human excellence. Till next time, live your truth. And now, Coach Schultz out.